Darius the Mede had just become king over the vast empire of Babylon. The palace was busy with celebration, planning, and big decisions. King Darius wanted his government to run smoothly, so he chose 120 important officials to help him rule. Over them, he placed 3 top leaders. One of them was Daniel, a wise and faithful man from Judah. Even though Daniel was not born in Babylon, he stood out among the leaders. He was honest, responsible, and full of wisdom. King Darius liked Daniel so much that he thought about making him ruler over the entire kingdom. This decision didn't sit well with the other officials. They were jealous. Why should a foreigner, a Hebrew, be given such honor? They started to watch Daniel closely, hoping to find something wrong with him. Maybe he was stealing money. Maybe he was lazy. But no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't find a single fault. Daniel was trustworthy in everything. The only thing different about Daniel was his faith. He prayed to his God every single day, morning, noon, and night. And that's when they got an idea. The officials whispered among themselves, "If we want to bring Daniel down, we'll have to use his faith against him." So they came up with a sneaky plan. They went to King Darius and bowed low before him. "O King Darius, live forever," they said. "We all agree, for the next 30 days, no one should pray to any god or man except you. Anyone who disobeys should be thrown into the den of lions." The king thought this sounded good. After all, being honored like a god for 30 days would show everyone his power. So he signed the law. In the laws of the Medes and Persians, once a law was signed, it could never be changed. The trap was set. Now they just had to wait for Daniel to pray. Daniel's unshaken faith. When Daniel heard about the new law, he didn't panic. He didn't hide. Instead, he went to his room, opened the window that faced Jerusalem, and did exactly what he had always done. He got down on his knees and prayed to God, thanking him and asking for help. The officials were watching. They burst into his room and found him praying. Smiling to themselves, they hurried back to the king. "O king," they said, "didn't you sign a law that said no one could pray to any god but you?" "Yes," Darius answered. "Well, Daniel has broken that law. He was praying to his God today." The king was shocked. He realized he had been tricked. He liked Daniel. He respected him. All day he tried to find a way to save Daniel, but the law could not be changed. As the sun began to set, the officials reminded him, "The law is the law. Daniel must go into the lion's den." With a heavy heart, King Darius gave the order. Soldiers came and led Daniel through the palace gates, past the gardens, and down a path to a deep, dark pit carved into the earth. This was the lion's den. Inside, fierce, hungry lions paced back and forth, their eyes glowing in the shadows. Daniel walked calmly, his face peaceful. He did not scream. He did not beg. He trusted in God. King Darius followed, deeply troubled. He looked Daniel in the eye and said, "May your God, whom you serve so faithfully, rescue you." The soldiers rolled a heavy stone over the opening of the den and sealed it with the king's ring. This seal meant no one could move the stone or set Daniel free, not without breaking the king's command. The sun had disappeared, and darkness covered the land. But inside the den, something powerful was about to happen, something only God could do. A sleepless king. Back at the palace, King Darius couldn't sleep. He refused his evening meal. He wouldn't listen to music or laughter. He paced back and forth, thinking about Daniel. Guilt and worry filled his heart. Meanwhile, the officials celebrated quietly. They were sure Daniel would never survive the night. But deep in the den, something amazing was taking place. The lions had not harmed Daniel. God had sent an angel to shut their mouths. The lions, who were known for tearing apart anything that entered their space, were calm. Some lay down quietly. Others simply watched Daniel, but none came close to harm him. Daniel, tired but unharmed, prayed and gave thanks to God. His faith had not wavered. As the morning light crept into the sky, King Darius rushed to the den. "Daniel, servant of the living God," he shouted, "was your God able to rescue you from the lions?" From the shadows came Daniel's voice, strong and full of peace. "Yes, your majesty. My God sent his angel to shut the mouths of the lions. They did not hurt me because I was found innocent in God's sight. And I have done nothing wrong against you, O king." King Darius shouted with joy, "Get him out of there!" The stone was rolled away, and Daniel was lifted out. Not a scratch was found on him. His robes were whole. His face shone with faith. The king ordered that those who had falsely accused Daniel be brought to justice. They were thrown into the same den, and this time, the lions were not silent. Darius then wrote a decree to all nations and people of every language. "I issue a decree that in every part of my kingdom, people must fear and respect the God of Daniel. For he is the living God and he endures forever. His kingdom will not be destroyed, and his dominion will never end." Daniel continued to prosper during the reign of Darius and into the reign of Cyrus the Persian. Daniel's habit of prayer every morning before the sun rose, Daniel would go to his window, open it toward Jerusalem, and kneel in prayer. He did this not out of habit, but out of deep love and trust in God. No matter what was happening in his life, Daniel made time to talk to God, to thank him, to ask for guidance, and to worship him. Even as he worked in the palace, surrounded by power, wealth, and pressure, Daniel never allowed his heart to be swayed. His strength came not from his title, but from the God he served. People noticed his peace, his discipline, and his kindness. But few knew that it all began in quiet moments with God. This habit wasn't just about asking for things. It was about relationship. Every prayer built Daniel's confidence in God's presence. That's why when danger came, he didn't shake or hide. He already knew the one who was with him. His example reminds us that true strength often begins in silence, on our knees in faith. Young children acted out the story of the lion's den. Priests and elders read aloud his letters, and many hearts were stirred to follow God more closely. Ezra, now an old man himself, said, "Daniel didn't just survive. He lived with purpose, courage, and faith. He was a bridge between kings and the King of Heaven." Years turned into decades. Daniel's name became part of songs and prayers. In Jerusalem, his story was shared in the temple. In Babylon, it was taught in schools. And wherever people needed courage, they remembered him. But more than his bravery, they remembered his heart, faithful, humble, and full of quiet strength. And so, the boy taken from Judah became a man who changed empires. Not through war, not through wealth, but through unwavering faith in a living God. The story of Daniel in the lion's den is not just about one night of danger. It's about a lifetime of trust, and a God who is always faithful. Please subscribe for more Bible stories. Like, share and comment what you have learned.